Ramya from third year Kaito in the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science. Now I would like to explain my project, which is a chatbot. That name is Luma. Luma means a clear and interactive, and it gives a clear and helpful intelligence response to the users. And the technologies are used for my project is React, Tailwind CSS, Fast API, SQLite, and Grok API key. When I want to ask a question, who is the Prime Minister of India in 2018? It gives a short and clear, efficient output to the users, and I add some features, and I add a new chart board, and when I click on this, it will render to the new chart, and the history also presented in and stored here, and I add a delete option also. When I click on this, the chart will be deleted, and I add some more features like coding assistant, content creator assistant, and research assistant. When I click on content creator assistance, it asks some basic questions about your content. When we enter the some requirements, it gives the response to based on the requirements, and I also theme effect also coming from the code from this backend. All the code is presented in app. API.py contains it controls the APIs and routers. It contains get, post, and delete options. Like when I create a response, it get for the creating responses and retrieving the past histories of the responses and chart histories and deleting the responses, which are all the code is presented in this phase. And config.py, it contains all the information, that is project name, port number, host number, SQL parts, and Grok API path like this. Database.py, how the data is stored in SQLite. It contains conversations and storing messages or retrieving the chart history and deleting the data. All the code is presented in this. And main.py, it contains major components like configurations, databases, routing, and middleware. Error handlings are all the code is presented in this. Service.py, it contains all the Grok API keys with the database, and mainly how the responses are converted to database, how the connection is there, and all this code is presented in this. .env, it contains all the paths links. And chatbot.dby, it contains how the storage will be presented and how many messages are presented. It contains all the stories. And Docker files are used for deploying our project in real world. Requirement.txt, which the technologies are used for my project is presented in this. Coming to the front end, node modules. Node modules are pre-install all the requirements and collecting the useful requirements to my project. Public, it contains icons like logos. My project logo are presented in this. SRC and components. Components contains start area, which contains the search bar. It contains how the responses are created, how it render, how the assistant give responses. All the code is presented in this. Dashboard layout, it contains all the dashboard HTML code, which the sidebar and other features like content creator features, all the code is presented in this with the HTML. App content, it contains all the features which is content creator and coding assistant and research assistant, how they work, and the HTML code is presented in this. API.css, API.js, it contains it communicate the backend and front end, how the backend is connected to front end, how the responses are coming. All this code is presented in this. Index.css, it contains the coloring of our dashboard. And main.css, it routes all the pages in this. This is the main part of our project. And index.html, it contains all the layout dashboard lens are presented in this. All the pages are rendered to this page. And packages.js, it contains all the node modules which are used for this project are presented in this page with the paths and host names and versions. This is my project, Luma Chatbord. That's it. Thank you.